Welcome, welcome. Today we're covering the finals of the North American Go Federation Professional Qualifiers 2025. We're only taking a look at the final game, the crowning moment, so this will not take too long. First, let's meet the players. The AGA e-journal has sent out several emails and news articles about the professional qualifiers, and here are the 11 contenders in picture format. Notably, there are several 12-year-old youngsters. This guy, and Daniel. Daniel's the only one missing with these pictures, but he'll be okay. Here are the players in name format, and here this is what we really care about: their skill levels. So they are separated into Group 1 and Group 2, and the highest rated player is Guan Yusong. You will see him in the finals coming up. His entering rank is 7 Dan, and his AGA rating is 7.74. Extremely high. The other player you'll see in the finals is Eric Yoder. He enters as a 6 Dan, and his AGA rating is only 6.08. So very good job for these two players for getting to the finals. More so for Eric, he has an uphill battle. Next we have Michael Xu. Michael is from Canada. He doesn't have an AGA rating yet. He would have gone to this year's US Go Congress, but he went to the Chinese professional qualifiers, so which is a little bit more competitive than our US one. It's the biggest one in the world. He finished with a positive record, so his 6 Dan level here is a little bit conservative. He's one of the 3 12-year-olds we have this year. We would put his guest rating as something like maybe below 7 Dan, 6.9. But don't be surprised if he's above 7. Hopefully he gets an updated AGA rating at the end of this. Michael made it to the semi-finals, so very good job for Michael too. If you guys are wondering, he also went to the semi-finals last year as well. So very good showing, but not entirely unexpected. On the other side, we have Weiqi, another player who entered as a 7 Dan. His AGA rating is 6.74, but this was from 2022 when he last played in the 2022 professional qualifiers, where he went 3-2 and only lost out on the semifinals due to tie breaks. This year he makes it to the semifinals, so very good job there. But he played super strong as well. His AGA rating may not have kept up with his actual rating. Recently he won a tournament in Toronto, I believe. Evan Tan is another 12-year-old. He is 6.50 Dan, enters as a 6 Dan. Very promising young player. He also plays soccer, which I did as well, which makes him one of my favorites. And on the other side we have Daniel Zhou. He enters as a 7 Dan. His only AGA rated tournament was at the US Go Congress, where he finished with a 4-3 record. And his AGA rating, he started out at 7.0. After the Go Congress he is 7.22, so he actually gained rating. So he would be on paper the number 2 contender. He is also 12 years old, so these 3 players are 12 years old. Very good futures ahead for them. Next we have 2 very old, much older players. Edward Zhang, he enters as a 5 Dan, AGA rating 5.87. Wondering, this is the first time he's entering any tournament as a 5 Dan. He insists on being called a 7 Dan always, and several years ago he was calling himself a 7 Dan. basically the notion is admirable. He wants to make himself look as good as possible. It's all about the making yourself look as good as possible, but I'm glad to see that he is entering this year as a 5-dan, which is his AGA rating, so good to see that. Next we have Yuanzhou. This guy, he has written a couple dozen books, not several books. He has a lot of books, and his books are popularly featured as Go tournament prizes. His peak AGA rating is 8.1, 8.0 plus. So he enters this tournament as a 6-dan. His AGA rating has fallen through the years to 6.64. Still a very, very good contender for the top championships. Although at the recent Maryland Open in 2025, he went 1-4 only, with a rating drop to accompany that, I'm sure. So yeah, and then he also taught as one of the teachers at Burning Board, but he didn't play any games at Burning Board, so I really did not fancy his chances coming into this tournament. With that said, he performed better than expected, with a win over the group winner Eric Yoder, which was very, very good to see. So he performed much better than expected, although his rating is kind of high still. Next we have Jeremiah Donnelly at 5-dan. His AGA rating is 5.35, and he helped out a lot with the streams and debugging a lot of the stream issues. Thank God that he is there. Hopefully, Chris would give me the passwords and then I can do the streaming for him, or Chris would give the passwords to Daniel Lam, who is Daniel LM, the streamer, who is a part of the AGA board, and I'm sure he can help a lot with that. I think Daniel helped with the overall layout of the stream and with the stream and technical issues. So hopefully, hopefully he helps more, and then we'll get better streams going forward. The streams are already good. Even better they could be. And on the other side, we have two first-time contenders to the professional qualifiers. Zhu Wanqi entering as a 5-dan with an AGA rating of 4.89, and Henry Zhang entering as a 4-dan. I looked up the AGA ratings list. There were too many Zhangs at 4-dan, so unfortunately, I couldn't pin down exactly who he was. Here's the AGA ratings page, for example, and here are all the Zhangs. By the way, go to the usgo.org and then click on AGA ratings on the top right-hand corner. He could be any one of these players. Anyways, all good. So, we're talking about the finals, and this is game 2 of the finals, and the players who made it out of their groups in number 1 place both made it to the finals. So they both defeated number 2 in their opposing groups. So this was really they did a pretty good job in hindsight of evening out the groups, with the group winners both taking down the opposite group's second place finishers. Guan Yu, he has won the first game already, and was also a very interesting game. And this is a night game. This was the only night game streamed started at 7 p.m. Local time in the East Coast. So this was a night game. It was very exciting as well. They had Michael Redmond doing live commentaries too. Of course, with a little bit of technical difficulties, but that's to be expected with any stream, so that's okay. We're first gonna take a look through the game without the help of AI, and I have already seen the game with some AI, so yeah, don't be surprised if I'm pointing out very good things, and if I seem stronger than I actually am. Beginning of the game pretty reasonable, and here this was the first sort of commitment move by black to the attacks. So another normal move is to just play normally here. Another set of common josekis go like this. This, of course, headbutting is always recommended. And here, if white were to just run like this, just run like this, this Hane Connect is very, very nice for black. This is a good way to attack while extracting a lot of thickness and territory profits for yourself. And the corner, it's very big, so it's very worthwhile to solidify it for black. And if you can play these Hane Connects sort of in Sente, if you can imagine what white's going to do next, attack the black stone, and then you can capture one more stone to save your stone, that would be very ideal. So white counters this by playing on the top at h17. This is a very common way to limit the corner. It's like not invading directly, but getting ready to do it. The two moves are here and here. Here, right now, I definitely prefer h17. There's an extra stone at c12 attacking the two white stones. So if you guys are wondering, the old josekis of going straight into the corner is now outdated, and this is favorable for black. This kind of shape is very favorable, is a little bit favorable for black. Namely, the most favorable shape is this one locally. Beforehand, people thought, destroyed half of the corner, pretty good, but now we think the thickness in the black corner is way too much. In this game though, because this one stone is a little bit close to the black thickness, it may be okay, but still it's not going to be good for white in any case. So white plays on the outside, and this is a very interesting move. White doesn't want to go straight in. This way black blocks with a very large corner. He wants to play this move and then connect, and then the corner is much smaller with a very nice invasion point next with two Hane connections. So that's the reasoning behind this one. And normally this kind of a shape is bad for black. It's an empty triangle with a very inefficient shape. White is very efficient and wraps around, but this is a little bit of a special situation. When white plays a normal move, black is gonna play this one, right? Not sure. Anyways, because so here is black sort of turning to the outside and really trying to dominate the influence game outside in the middle of the board. Anyways, white connects, committing further to the territories, which is very, very good. White has made a very strong influence on the lower side, so white doesn't mind black trying to make a big center at this point, which makes sense. Unfortunately, the stone gets laddered, but it's still very, very even on this board right now. When I was watching, I was thinking this is either fairly good for black or about even, and it was about even, so very interesting. White goes into the corner as expected. Here, white resolved to play b18. This turned out to be a slight mistake, a couple of points, but at the time, and the move is very easy to see. It's to connect here, and then black has a hard choice between extending or playing here. He will probably play here, but I can see what the players are thinking. I'm sure Eric was going to play this move now, anyways, in the reversed order, so to him it didn't matter, and then he just didn't want black to have the option of extending here, which would secure more of the the c12 stone, the safety of the c12 stone. So makes perfect sense. Another move is for black to extend back. This would be gote. It's unthinkable. So, in hindsight, this is, I'm sure this was what they were thinking. White would Tanuki, of course, at this point, and then play something else. The corner is still very big, so you can imagine how the players are debating between the two, and then coming up with bad decisions that are always imperfect, and choices and all that stuff. So I started watching the game at this point, and I think live commentaries also started around this point. They saw it for a long time around here. Connect is not a direct ladder breaker, but this peep is, and this would work. Feel free to work this out yourselves. So this peep is very, very strong, and so that's why this capture was needed. AI sometimes also picks these middle of the board moves, and right now it's a very attractive thing to do. You're surrounding a big moyo, but notably it's a little bit with a sente on the upper side. It's a little bit it's not getting the value on the upper side. So in the game, black just captures. This would be the likely the best move. Didn't lose any AI points. I'm sure that if blacks had a stone somewhere around here, or if the position was like this, then the move would have been in the middle. But because of that Atari, potentially useful in the end game, it was not. It was totally fine. If you guys are wondering, a move in the middle here, make sure to go on the right diagonal with one of the ladder stones. That's about the same, like half a point worse. Okay, next white went for the invasion, and a more solid play from Guanyu. Connecting, very, very interesting. Here, with the help of AI, we would know that black is slightly ahead, but only by a point or two. Eric plays very strong here, very ambitious, which is always good, and then allows a cut to happen and then extends. This is a very, very interesting fight. So here is the first major fight of the game, and they played it out this way. They start the cross-cutting fight, and then the fighting sort of dies down. But Eric picks it up again with very provocative moves down here, with a sente hane and then extend out. This makes a lot of territory on the bottom, including a very big C2 move later. But here is where the first real killing blow comes in, the wedge. There's no real good way to connect right now. The key move being this Atari on the outside and then playing like this to capture. Yes, if you're happy enough doing this, don't be. White would play the wedge and then cut across, and black would capture less than he would lose in the middle in terms of value. Hard to tell during the game, but with when you guys are watching nowadays, this is very easy now. This is white ahead by 6 points. Yeah, make sure you guys maximize. In the game, white goes for more aji on the bottom, which is very, very nice. This was the AI move, and so this was super strongly played. Next, white plays a block, which is also very, very maximizing. It's a very difficult position to play for both sides. The AI move was something like this, and press this. Pressing is likely sente, and then another move here to jump out. And if black wants to attack white, black has to suffer double Ataris in sente. And then this move is sente too. So if black wants to attack white, black generally will play one more move here. Then white plays this one. Black doesn't want to Atari, black would play this. White would have an either. Black wants to play here, and then we'll have white extending out somehow. This is losing a lot of points. This is white ahead by 2.5. Can you believe it? White is ahead at this point by 2.5, 3 points. Yeah, I need multiple tries with the AI to figure this out. Lost so many stones, but because white first gains a lot of territory value here, and then if you look at the overall scheme of the board, you know, if white's bottom territory is about the same size as the black territory, which it is about right, yeah, overall on the board, white looks totally fine, and white is actually ahead at this point. Crazy variation. In the game, white plays here, and black connects. You might be wondering why black does not play this one, and it's exactly it's basically exactly what the problems were before. This capture though was an AI move. There's just a lot of co-uncertainties and AGI and things involved. Anyways, so black takes away this. So in some ways we can tell that black is playing really strong. For example, if white plays this one and then is able to fumble out some kind of a co against black and then press, something like this may be good enough for white too. No, that is good for black, but you know, okay. So black connects. This is the greediest move of all around this area. This strengthens the upper, middle, right, left side. This is super strong, very greedy, and it's like the maximal punishment move. It's like the strongest move one can think of at this moment. So it's great. Clearly, black was a little concerned about some of the white AGI with like this move or this move, and then running out this group. So so here black connects and white plays down here. The most vicious move is to play this and then still hold on and then trying to capture the whole thing like this in ko. He didn't pick the ko, he picked the more sure death, and then so instead of playing on the outside now, black plays one on the outside and then plays here to poke out this eye and then cut off like half of the white stones. Very interesting exchange at the end, and at this point the game is right about even. Black is ahead by 1 point, which is totally even. This is very interesting exchanges. So black played the greediest move, but he wasn't able to hold on to all the profits or all of the killing on the bottom. Here, if the cut happens, the Atari and play here, and white lives. So this was very interesting. It was almost totally dead even. White needed to play one more peep, which is a good way to extract as much as you can before you survive yourself, and then it's a good way of ensuring that black sort of connects after the Atari. In the game, white basically played something very similar, but when the Atari was to be played, it's like, black is gonna jump, and white did not fancy this result with a very big middle, black having the sort of the high ground advantage with the mutual expansion point. So white went for more here and then extended. This is white really fighting back, and fighting back pretty effectively. The local shapes here, black has played, these exchanges seems to be benefiting white more than they are benefiting black. Biggest point now is, believe it or not, C2. And this one is very good because it has some very good Sente follow-ups. For example, extending in, or this is the most aggressive move. Let's just say, extending in is going to be Sente, and then this is, the ins and outs of this is very big. Anyways, so C2, it's super big, but it's not guaranteed to be Sente. So whenever the game calms down, that would be the point to fight over, C2. Next, black plays several safety moves here, which is very painful to have. So this move is so first, black really need to continue here, destroy white's territory. This move is needed, but he's afraid of white, making the peep and extend. If black just plays very submissively like this, I mean, this is one, this is not the way to win the game. Two, white is making a lot of potential on the upper right, and he's counting the points, and he's not sure that this would work. And I see his points, and then he plays here, and then white tenukis again. He allows white to surround the thickness territory, which is fine. And then this move, this is a little bit of a safety move. You could imagine this move being the strongest, and then capturing like this. This does give white some aji, but this is really the biggest capture we can think of. In the game, black plays a very thick move again here. No doubt black is thinking black is doing very, very well. How could you not when you have captured such a big territory with many stones? But it is actually white with a 1.5 point advantage at this point, which is very, very interesting. And white peeps here. Very, very good in the middle game. Eric Yoder has displayed very, very strong late middle game, middle game that's after the first major fight in the game. That's how he was able to take down Daniel, the 12-year-old, and also Michael. The Michael games were very, very close and exciting too. So this is Yoder at his best again. This is one of the blue moves in this board too. Attach, I had no idea, and very, very good. Yeah. In fact, it gave black so much trouble that Song went for a total tanuki of this shape. Very interesting how this happened. And then the Hane, I'm sure he was expecting something like this, where black can safely tanuki out of this, maybe play here, and then the corner would be bullied around a little, but not, there would be no life and death issues. So this tanuki once again is very maximizing as well. Probably after having played several safe moves, black is like recounting the board. He's like, I have to do something active to win, and then he does. And then white plays here. This is threatening the black group, which is super, super interesting. Very good. Here white connects. Most important moves are here or here, and this is just accepting that the two stones can die. In fact, when white first played this peep, this was always a variation that was possible. So so very, very well played on both sides in this middle game. They certainly took their time and then came up with very advanced, very, very good moves. Okay, white connects here. This is a bit of a commitment move to attack the black group. After this, black is not entirely alive on the bottom, so it's a very difficult position for black to decide on now. Right now, black has a bit of a lead. Before, it was a point to white, so this move needed to be ignored. And probably around here, this is quite a let's say black needs to make this is quite a very interesting attack. So first, of course, white wants to go for the kill. White has to play that, and then there's all these sentes, and then it's not that easy for black to make himself to ice, but he barely can. But then again, you're getting bullied around so much. Is it really worth it? And so it's a very, very difficult position to play for black as well. So this move put a lot of pressure on black, and black did end up playing this knight's move, which means white has gained a lot more territory and forced black to play on the outside, which is not a lot of territory. White is actually doing quite well at this point. White is up by 4 points, and so victory is in sight for him. And here both sides would not budge, and if white backs off, which is this would be an even game again. If either side backs off in these kinds of middle of the late middle game fighting, it's very dangerous to back off of late middle game fighting positions. And if you try to win safely, you often will not win at all, even forget about winning safely. At this point, they both go for the full savvy, the full ko, the savage full ko, and neither side can back down. And it was actually white keeping a bit of an advantage when black cuts there. The move, I think, was to play this throw-in, but the throw-in loses a lot of points, and at this point this is white ahead by 2.3. There's another very exciting variation which goes like this, where black goes on the outside and then plays all of these moves. But here white can play this very good Tetsuji move to connect on the lower right, and then with all the thickness that was built up, good luck for black trying to save both the bottom and the right hand side group. So he is not going to be able to save both, and then the top right is already in shambles. So unfortunately for white, that ko threat didn't quite work. And this ko threat doesn't work either, so this is actually white really winning the game, sort of really doing the most important things in the middle game. And when he detected his opponent backed off slightly, he pressed on and then got himself the advantage. The move now is to play the capture here. So when black cut, the move white played was here. Two moves are equivalent now, Atari here or capture here. And the right hand side black group is not totally alive, so that makes the lower side fighting a little bit hampered by black. And if white goes for this kind of exchange, this would be white slightly ahead. It's good luck trying to figure out who's ahead at this point. White is up by 2.5, but neither of them would know that. White actually has a super strong follow-ups with this shape. First trying to make life on the inside, and then playing here and then here, and sort of black is supposed to not be able to make this alive or win any liberty races. So this just turns out to be a non-ko threat. How could a non-ko threat, which was very interesting, but it's a very close one. In any case, white needs to capture this now. This is Sente against the right hand side black group, but I'm sure during the game, faced with this, it's almost an impossible decision to make to go for this. Probably would have worked, and this is the only point where white had a distinct, clear advantage in the game, up by 15, but it required killing the right hand side group. So in the game white blocks and then wanted to go into this kind of an end game. And this would also be favorable for white. This is white ahead by 4 points. But here black plays very well. He connects first, and then black would go for this. Connecting, of course, is a lot of value, and this is a total toss-up. Super interesting game. And so here, Guan Yu, if he wins the championships, this would be the winning moves, extending sort of getting yourself into the deepest holes. First, of course, black needs to connect here and exchange this, but he doesn't do it first. First, he does this one. Now black can already capture white on the inside. He turns to make himself more territory, and then he connects. Very, very super sharp. All that was required was for white to not go for this kill on the big group, and this was so well planned. This was not going to be super clear, you know. Okay, with all of that said, right now if white captures and black captures, it's a totally even game. It's very hard to tell who's winning and everything. White is actually slightly ahead. The end game was probably better done like this. My end game was a little worse. White is ahead slightly still, but you know, black has a relatively weak group on the right, and so this is impossible to figure out kind of a situation. Okay, so in the game, what happens is one soft move at g2, and this would cost white all of the advantages. The move is to extend in, and so this way, not only do you capture the 4 stones, we also take the endgame moves at the c2 point, the very important endgame there. And then the ko, it's hard to decide between wedging in, where black would get a ko like this. This is actually very good for black. So wedging in like this, which ends up losing the ko threat. Or here, but you know, at this point, black has some ko threats at the k3 cut. So now it's becoming increasingly difficult for white to win the ko. Anyways, yeah, I wonder where white's ko threats are going to be located. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. So white blocks for all the good reasons. It's hard to think of where white is going to fight the ko anyways. Then white gives up and connects. Okay, so black survives and then takes away white's corner. White survives, but black has a crucial block in center now, which significantly helps black's outside group survive. And so this, at this point, after the ko is settled, black is ahead by 7, and he would not let the lead up. In fact, black is the one who gets c2. Would be closer if white got c2, but even if white did, it's not going to be very easy to win. White's only opportunity was at the h2 point, forcing black to play out, and then fighting it out from g2 instead of blocking at j3. Who could make that decision? So this was the last gasp attempt from white. When black cut here, this became very complicated again, but he came up with the super good reading move. This was very complicated. White had a chance to play this, but this was going to be good for black anyways. Black would could you know, just capture part of the top. The most interesting variation looks like this, and white is not able to, you know, allow this middle to be cut. There's too many liberties. So right. So around this point, it's also not. It's going to be too hard to seal in the black group. Period. And if this were to happen, this is the most interesting variation. This is the most interesting variation. White could cut and then play all these moves, but because this hane and then the connect is sente, there's a cut here. This actually saves black. and then blocks here. Black gets many liberties, and this is going to be some kind of a ko at the very least for black, but it's going to be a double ko, and then white ends up losing by ko threats. So by double ko liberties. So at the end here, there was nothing to do but to allow black to run home, and in the process capture some white stones at the same time. I'm sure, very regrettable, there was just nothing else that white could do about this middle. And at the end, black won even more. At the end, black won by 21.5 points. Very good game. 20.5 points. 21.5. Well, 21.5 with 6.5 Komi, so 20.5. 20.5. It was very much, and at around the beginning of the end game, at around this spots, it was 15 points. At around this point, it was about 15 points. So black won a little bit more in the end game, anyways. A super exciting game. At the end here, we're gonna run through this very quickly with the help of AI. And once again, very big congratulations to Guan Yu. He wins at the end. At the end here, he's totally undefeated with 8 wins, and we're gonna do this just for now. All victories. He won 4-0 his group, and then he dispatched the number 1 and number 2 finisher in group 2 by 2 zeros. So Eric Yoder, he got out of the group 4-1, as did Weiqi. Michael Xu was 3-1, and so out of all of these performances, Yuan Zhou did better than I expected. So first of all, the 5 dance performed as expected. Edward 1-3, Jeremiah Dangli 0-4, the 4 dan 0-5, Zhu Wanqi 1-4, and out of the 6 dance and above, Yuan Zhou did better than expected, although his 2 of 3 went from the bottom, but still he did better than I expected. And Daniel did about the same. He's 12, and he went 3-2 as expected, a winning record, but I'm sure he would have loved to win one more. Qiyo Wu and Eric Yoder probably performed better than expected, especially Eric making it all the way to the finals. Qiyo Wu is going to get an updated rating, and he's going to be happy about that. Evan Tan, about as expected, 2-2. He and Michael are probably broadly similar, and then Michael beat him to move on to the semifinals. And but then Michael is training in China, I have heard, and he played in the Chinese professional qualifiers with good results, so makes sense. Guan Yusong, still better than expected, because not losing a game is always better than expected. This is as good of a tournament as he could have, so very good. Don't worry about some shakiness in the openings and stuff. That has to happen. That is always bound to happen. So generally no major upsets. Some players did better than expected, but broadly the rankings generally held up with 7 dance and 6 dance over the 5 dance and 4 dance, which makes sense. Great. So so the last thing we'll do is run through the game again with the help of AI, and then just to see some of the highlights. Very good. Lots of blue moves. This is an unconventional Joseki, but he chose it for a reason. Totally even. Okay. Very high quality game. You guys can see how it's so difficult to figure it out. Normally, how would you with the score estimator, which is AI, how do you figure it out during the game? It's very hard. Very interesting fighting in the middle, and black is doing a little bit better, and this wedge, very vicious move, but it actually makes the game quite even. Which is very interesting. This is a variation we were looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just trying to save these stones, which was how do you play that and lose so much? Both of these moves, top and bottom, are about equivalent, and the vicious move turns out to be the better move, capturing the whole thing in Ko. Yeah, this is a whole thing in Ko. In fact, white plays 12, 13, and then crawling move. 14 was here in our variation, getting a Ko. Okay, and then here, all good. Play here the peep we pointed out, but it's not a major difference. This move in the middle of the board, it felt like white gained a little bit here, and white did, and very interesting, tough choices for both sides. Black tanukis, they turned out to be pretty good. The safety move, safe, and slightly worse. Who could have played this move? That was crazy. This move, and then turn, push, block. Here's a key point. White connects for points value. Black is supposed to totally tanuki, but it's very dangerous. So black plays and then answers, and here white actually has a bit of an advantage. This fighting was totally blue. White actually has a fairly big lead at this point. Supposed to capture this. This one was also a capture. Very interesting. Yeah. Note how in the score estimator weaker AI, this variation was only slightly good for white, but this variation is 9 points good for white, which is this is a full AI review, which is very interesting. This was Eric's major chance. 1, 2. Note how black chickens out and plays 2, and then he could do absolutely the same things as before. So these moves were made, and very interesting. This turn, and then this capture, and here this was a crucial move, needed to push in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when 4 happens, white's like, I have no co-threats anymore, I have to play here. And then this exact variation has black not capturing the inside for a small advantage. Very interesting. So white blocks here. This would be the last time that white would have an advantage in the game, and needed to play this Ko. So when the cut happens, white is supposed to push and then have 9 as a co-threat, and then very interesting. I'm sure 14, 15, yeah, very complicated still, but with some additional co-threats, it's hard to think that black is gonna just not win the Ko. Slightly, yeah, so at this point, black would now have a pretty good advantage. The big endgame at c2 was just never played. Just didn't have a chance to play that for white, and at the end here, black got it and cemented a very large lead. The last fight was here, and this move was generally a fairly good move. When it's a free, weaker AI version, when black cut here, it got confused and wasn't able to figure out the fighting. But this full AI review on OGS, does figure it out, and there was just nothing that White could do really. And here, this the beginning of the game, the super sick capture came back to really help Black with this thickness here. In the small end game, White could have done better, but I don't think he was, I don't think he was, he knew he was not gonna win. After the attack, the last all-in attack ended with Black capturing 3 stones on the way to live. So at the end, it was 21.5 points victory for Black. AGA rules. Congratulations to Guan Yu. Congratulations to all the players who made it. For the lower ranked players, I'm sure it was still a learning experience for these guys. Some of them have been here for a while. For some of them, they have been here it's only their first time playing. The Henry and Weiqi, Jeremiah and Edward, it's their third or fourth. Edward may have played a lot more before. Anyways, it's still good to come to play. It's a pity that like players like Evan only got to play 4 games, which is like the practice is very, very good. So with 11 players, if they had a whole like round robin, you can still play a playoff game at the end. That would be fine. And they would have 10 games, which Eric Yoder played 10 games, so that would be fine. Even if you have 12 players, this is 11 players, even if we have 12, that would be good. It would be, that's what the Europeans did in this year's European professional qualifiers, where Ben0 won. That would be great. Like all the, it's super, super good. The championship contenders, they still play a comparable amount of games. If you make it to the finals, you play 8 to 10 games. If you make it to the semifinals, you play like 7 games. Could be 8 games. But for the rest of the guys, they don't get as much play as possible. And if they had a bigger tournament with SOS, with a big round robin, that would be great. And you just play some tie breaks at the end. That would work. We potentially had tie breaks too in this format. So hopefully for the players at the top, the real championship contenders, it's about the same. But for the medium, the middle of the round players, that would be great. It's super, super good practice, and they could also have some prize money and everything, and that would be great. So hopefully they would go to that format. It's such a good winning format, and it's really, really helpful for developing, for getting these players to get some practice. Everyone travels for something upwards of a week, maybe like 5-6 days to go to the tournament. You'd hope that they would play more than 4 games. And although this is very high level, it's not like it's a world championships, where each day you have 1 game. You have 2 games, and would be nice to play more than 4 games. For example, for Evan and Edward and Jeremiah, would be nice for Jeremiah Dunley to get some wins. To go like 2-6 instead of 0-4. Maybe he would win. Maybe he would go like 3-7. Who knows? Hopefully they would do that, and we could always have the playoffs at the end where the top 2 players play for the spot. And if the key is a 3-way tie, I know, but you can use SOS and determine like who to play the playoffs and stuff, and that would be fine. Anyways, that's all my thoughts. Congratulations to Guan Yu, the highest rated player, also was the winner at the end. So no super major upsets. 12-year-olds placed second and third in the groups and third in the second group. So they have 2 more years left to contend for the youngest inducted professional. As currently the world, the record is Alexander Chi at 14 years old, so 3 years ago. All right, this is the finals. We saw who won, and let me know what you guys think. Who was a surprise? Who was who was a disappointment? Broadly speaking, the ratings generally held out, so very, very good to see. Thank you guys. This is coverage of the North American Professional Qualifiers. Leave a comment, let me know if there's any particular games that you guys like to see. Good luck, guys. If you're thinking about playing and you're right around the cutoff, remember that it's always good to come and play. Henry, for example, if he's not one of the 4-dan players, he just shows up and he has a chance to play, and it's a very good experience, certainly to see what it's like. Highly recommended. All right, see you guys in the next one.